Good morning and welcome to SSiTV Weekend Trends. First on your news, we have rich religious leaders living the good life by following the good word. Religious leader and sticking rich don't sound like they should go in hand, but oftentimes the opposite is true. Admittedly, doing God's work, as some of them put it, isn't cheap and you need to have a personal jet to spread the good word. Check out our list of some of the wealthiest religious leaders this world has ever seen. You will undoubtedly know who sits on the third spot. The late Walter Mercado was a spiritual leader that would leave his audience hanging onto his every word. The Puerto Rico native took an unorthodox approach at religion, influencing his Latin viewers to accept non-conforming roles based on gender. The dancer turned singer turned astrologer turned spiritual leader passed away in late 2019 from kidney failure. Many of his extravagant capes have been auctioned off. King Misuzulu Wazelintini. The Amazulu king Misuzulu Wazelintini has not been on the throne for very long, but he is a hot topic of conversation. He says he's ready for the Zulu nation. According to the king, his biggest mission will be to finish what his father started in tackling poverty and unemployment. On the other side of the world, Japan's Matsushima falls for Osaka after French Open withdrawal. Star rugby player Kotaro Matsushima said on Wednesday he sympathized with fellow Japanese athlete Naomi Osaka after she pulled out of the French Open this week due to depression. World number 2 and 4-time Grand Slam winner Osaka withdrew from Roland Garros on Monday after she was fined $15,000 and threatened with disqualification for refusing to attend press conferences. She claimed on the eve of the tournament in Paris that post-match inquests were akin to kicking people when they are down, and they had a detrimental effect on her mental health. I think it's difficult for her. Tennis is a big sport across the world. Everyone watches her, Matsushima told AFP. Even in Japan, she has a lot of commercials and TV shows. Even in America too. I feel for her, he added. Matsushima said he had learned from his experience at the Rugby World Cup on home soil 2 years ago. For me, I had to take it seriously, but sometimes it gets too much, the 28-year-old said. After the 2019 Rugby World Cup, a lot of media were after the Japan players. You had to let it go. Don't take it too seriously. Relax and not put pressure on yourself. Is China allowing a third child? China wants its women to have more children, but for many young people, the government's big promises of support mean little because of soaring living costs and changing mindsets about families. On Monday, the world's most populous nation further relaxed its strict family planning controls, allowing couples to have 3 children after just 12 million Chinese were born last year, a record low. But high cost, limited space, and social norms shaped by decades of limits on family size will impede efforts to boost China's 1.41 billion population, experts warn. A lot of the women around me are quite repulsed by the idea of having children, 22-year-old master's student Yang Jiaji told AFP in Belgium. So don't even think about having 3, she said. In 2016, China relaxed its one-child policy, one of the world's strictest family planning regulations, allowing couples to have 2 children as concerns mounted over an aging workforce and economic stagnation. The latest easing is part of an increasingly desperate effort to stay a demographic boom before China's remarkable growth story is bogged down by the healthcare and pension bills for hundreds of millions of elderly. For others, the thought of having any children at all or even marriage is off the table as urban life takes its toll. Long working hours, expensive housing, and a punishing ladder into decent education. This increasingly pervasive attitude has alarmed China's leaders, prompting Monday's policy pivot. Nintendo announces plans for Japan Museum. After opening its first ever theme park this March, Nintendo is giving fans something else to get excited about: a planned Nintendo Gallery Museum set to open by spring 2024. The Japanese gaming giant announced its plans to repurpose an old factory site in Kaito, where the firm is based, to exhibit its history and beloved gaming products. Nintendo has been discussing the possibility of building a gallery as a way to share Nintendo's product development history and philosophy with the public, the company said in a statement. The facility where Nintendo's historical products will be showcased and exhibits and experience will be available is expected to be completed by March 2024. There was little detail yet on what fans of the company behind legends such as Super Mario and Donkey Kong can expect from the museum. Let's take it back to South Africa. Black feminist writers in South Africa raise their voices in a new book. In the third decade of the new millennium, despite many publishers still seeing Black women's writing as having a limited market, readers have far more access than before to publications by writers from the Global South. In particular, the perspectives of Black women are certainly more visible in the public domain. Yet, gasps and erasures based on intellectual authority, financial resources, and visibility in the knowledge commons means that it is still easier for work by Black, post-colonial, and decolonial feminists from global centers to secure publications and wide distribution. As a result, the growing audience of radical young readers grappling with questions about race, gender, sexuality, and freedom in global perispheres often have to turn to critical writing outside their national context, which inflect the topics they want to explore. Even for many reckless and radical readers in the global north, much remains silenced and absent. In the new book surfacing on being Black and feminist in South Africa, South African author Zukiswa Wana has contributed a piece titled "Do I Make You Uncomfortable?" about writing in a white publishing industry. That's it for your weekend trends. Thank you for choosing SSiTV.